It's time for a victory dance, everybody. I don't know if this is the best dance you've ever seen, or I guess some of you are just listening. But if Trump can dance, I can dance, we can all dance. And we should, because that was the greatest political comeback story of our lifetime, the biggest win for Republicans, certainly of my adult lifetime. And you'd have to go back to the early 80s to have anything comparable back in the Reagan years. This is amazing. I just want to hang out and talk to you about it for a little bit because, last night I was sitting here watching as the returns were coming in, and I stayed up late like everybody else. And I've been very confident. In fact, as you know, I've done podcasts here where I have said Donald Trump's going to win. Here's why he's going to win. I've known he was going to win because he had to, because we would be living in a different country if he had lost and Kamala Harris was able to, with the phoniest, most dishonest campaign I've ever seen, the least talented politician as the candidate for either party I've ever seen. She was able to beat Donald Trump. Then what are we even doing? This was a huge victory, and everybody should be very, very proud of themselves who had any role in it whatsoever. And if that means you just voted for Trump, well, you're part of the victory celebration. And the good news, even for Democrats, as sad as they may be, is Donald Trump is better at this than Kamala Harris would have been. It will be better for the country, objectively better for the United States of America to have Donald Trump as commander-in-chief than it would have to have Kamala Harris in that role. And Republicans in charge of the Senate, and soon to be, I think it's official, or soon to be official, soon to be in charge of the House, to have a unified government means that Trump can enact the agenda. I think you're going to see some of the most booming economic prosperity in the next, particularly the next 18 months or so, that we've maybe ever seen in this country. Certainly in the post-internet era, or since the dawn of the internet era. I think it's going to be absolutely amazing. Look, the sense that we have here of some justice finally being done is very important. I'm still very angry as an American about what the mostly Democrats, although there were some Republicans that went along with it, but the Dr. Fauci's and what they did to the country was monstrous so that Biden could win in 2020. These things were tied together. There was a mass delusion that we were all forced to live in. And finally, there has been some real pushback. There has been an effort to say, from the American people, this is unacceptable. They went authoritarian, they went radical left, and we cannot allow that to be the future of this country. It's just going to destroy everything. So in that sense, I'm relieved as much as I'm happy, right? There's a sense of relief that we're not going to go down this radical left-wing pathway. And I'm, of course, very happy for Trump, for his team, for the advisors that he has with him or that he will be bringing on as well. For J.D. Vance, a great VP. You don't get that many days where you can say the good guys won and it really matters. I'm 40, soon to be 43 years old. And there aren't that many days where I can say, you know what, the good guys won and it really matters. This is one of them. So as you're listening to me, I really would recommend that you just take a moment today, an hour, whatever you have time for, maybe plan it for this weekend, but do something to commemorate the great win that the Republican Party here had, because I think you will want to think back to this for many, many years, perhaps decades to come. And it's that powerful. The rejection of the nefarious, communist, destructive agenda of lies and systematic control and the censorship. I mean, it's just all so grotesque. All this stuff about, he's orange Hitler and is going to end the country in fascism, all a lie. It was all a lie. You know it and I know it. No truth to any of that whatsoever. He's not ending the country. He's going to make the country better. And character is destiny. The Democrats have no character to speak of whatsoever. Donald Trump is imperfect, but man, he's also superhuman in other ways too. Superhuman when it comes to his political will and strength and going forward. Again, he took on the entirety of the machine. They threw everything they had at him. They left nothing off the table. They threw everything they had at him, and he beat them all. That's amazing. Criminal prosecutions, impeachments, 2 assassination attempts. I mean, the forces of darkness tried everything in their power to stop Donald Trump. Really, I mean, there were 2 assassination attempts. He got a bullet through the ear. What wasn't tried to stop Donald Trump? And he won. Convincingly, resoundingly. It is a beautiful thing. You know, so much of political commentary is talking about problems and frustrations and how do we fix this, and these guys are crazy, and why are they doing? Today's the day we get to say, wow, we did it, we won. And really let that mantra continue in your mind for certainly the next 24 hours. And really, I would say, plan to enjoy this weekend with that as well. A huge victory for Donald Trump. We'll get into some more of this and thoughts about where it's all going here in just a second. Look, Donald Trump won, but it's going to take a while to get some things under control, like the debt, $35 trillion. And then there's the personal debts that people have run up. It's not their fault. Look at what's gone on with inflation and the cost of things you need to live. You didn't want those costs to rise, but debts have risen along with them. Personal debt. Donewithdebt.com is who I want you to check out to deal with the financial stress that is crushing you in the most productive and efficient way. Done with Debt stands between you and bill collectors. They negotiate with your creditors to write off balances, cut interest, and stop penalties. They have a plan in place to put more money in your pocket month 1. And Done with Debt is accepting new clients right now. But you need to hurry because some of their debt strategies are time sensitive and you don't want to miss out. Let Done with Debt help you make your money yours again. Visit donewithdebt.com or call 888-322-1054 right now. Chat with one of their debt relief strategists for free. Go to donewithdebt.com. That is donewithdebt.com. Now, how are the Democrats taking this? I was watching MSNBC last night, and there were some unintentionally hilarious parts of it. And the funniest by far, I think, was when Joy Reid said that this was a flawless, and she repeated the word right after it, a flawless campaign run by Kamala Harris. The most incompetent, absurd, low IQ, dishonest political campaign I think I have ever seen, certainly at a national level, but it was flawless. But here's the thing. Democrats, they didn't believe all the stuff that they were telling everybody. They didn't believe the things that they were saying about Donald Trump. And so that's why they can take what's gone on here without too much of a freak out, because the whole point was hysteria. And I'm also going to say this, you know, they really tried to create this vision of America where abortion was the single most important issue in the entire country. Think about how obscene that is. No matter what somebody thinks of abortion, and that's a very worthwhile conversation in and of itself, but that abortion is the only thing that matters, and that you have unrestricted abortion in all 50 states is the single most important thing. I mean, this is demonic. It's insane. Not the case in America. It is not the case that it is the only thing that matters, as much as Democrats tried to push that as a broad narrative. So that is very reassuring. And I hope that we don't have to hear about that the same way going forward. There's going to be huge fights over abortion, I understand, but they really thought that it could just deliver Kamala the election, that women would come forward and women would speak out, and women, you know that Trump won married women? Majority of married women, all races. If you're married, 50% plus, maybe 50.5% voted for Donald Trump. This is based on exit polling. The data is not perfect right now, but to the degree that we have data. But, and this lines up with what we already know. You know who Donald Trump lost big time? Unmarried women. So obviously you have to be an adult to vote. These are unmarried adult women. Why does Trump lose them by 20, 25 points? Well, that's a really deeper question, isn't it? This gets into unfortunately, the psychological cancer that is third or fourth or fifth or whatever wave it is, feminism. The idea that women should act like men, behave like men because they are the same as men, which is that is the fundamental fallacy of the modern gender identity and feminist movement, is that these things are indistinguishable. There's no differentiation, although they demand differentiation when they want it, right? This gets very confusing and self-contradictory. Men and women are the same in every way that matters, but you better say that I'm a woman even though I'm a man, or else, right? I mean, it's all self-contradictory and absurd. But that's where we are. That is what we have. That's what we've seen. And so unmarried women going for Kamala in such large numbers, there's something very sad, I think, about this idea that women have to rely on the state instead of a husband to provide for them, or just to be such a large role in their life. I mean, the state in the sort of big national sense, right? That the government in place of boyfriend, or the government in place of husband, not good. This is not a healthy recipe for society. But I'll also talk about some of the areas on the Republican map that I got to say, the resorting of red and blue states, something we saw dramatically. And I'm down here in Florida, and wow, it was amazing what's going on here. There are veterans of Wall Street who really understand the game, know how it works, and they can make great calls, right? One of them is a Wall Street veteran who has an announcement that relates to the end of this week. This guy has a lot of experience on Wall Street. He thinks this Friday will open the biggest rapid-fire money-making opportunity of his 50-year career. In short, a disconnect in the stock market has opened a way to spot potential buying sprees on 5,000 different stocks before they occur, and it could double your portfolio. This individual has a lot of experience and knowledge. He recommended an AI stock 10 years ago, which would have made you 32,000% if you'd bought and held. Go to stocks2025.com for details on how this strange new discovery could double your portfolio over the next year. Stocks2025.com, stocks2025.com, paid for by Chaikin Analytics. So, my friends, this was amazing as elections go. I think this is my favorite one. And I know some of you are going to say 2016. I understand that. You're going to say, oh, no, 2016 was my favorite election. And 2016 was amazing. I went to bed at night on 20. Oh, no, I didn't go to bed. I can't even remember now. I went into the night thinking there's no way Trump can win. I voted for him. I was hoping, but I'm like, look, 97% according to the New York Times. I know. Now everyone's, I knew Trump was going to win. Please, okay? Even all of us who were all in on Trump, voting for Trump, supported Trump, a lot of us were thinking, I don't think this guy's going to be able to win and beat the Hillary machine. So I think that's one part of the equation here. Anyway, I remember thinking there's no way he can win. And then he won. And when I'm trying to remember what the state was, there was a state that he got in the Republican side of things. What was it? Florida? There was a state that he won. I was like, oh my gosh, I think he's going to win this whole thing. And he did. So 2016 was amazing. But this is the greatest election for Republicans that I can remember. It is the sweeping away of years of left-wing madness all at once. I'm not saying that they've changed their minds and given up, but this is a massive defeat for them. It's a little bit like when, for those of you who are Lord of the Rings fans, I like the second Lord of the Rings movie the most, The Two Towers. When they're at Helm's Deep, right? But this is like the scene in Helm's Deep where Gandalf returns with the Rohirrim, the cavalry, and they're swooping down on the orcs. That's what it felt like on election night. I know it's a little nerdy, but that is what it felt like. The cavalry has arrived. Elon, Trump, J.D. Vance. I mean, these studs, these really alpha male superstars of politics and business and culture, they have saved the day, essentially. And while I could sit here and make fun of a lot of the left-wing lunacy and everything else, to me that feels less important than just taking this moment to sit back and recognize what a blessed thing it is and how good this will be for the country. I mean, I am truly excited about the future for America, certainly over the next couple of years, right? I'm aware that they're gonna keep fighting dirty. They're gonna try to stop Trump with everything they've got. I have no illusions about any of this, right? We know who the opponents are in this whole game, but this was a big one. This was a big win, and you should feel very, very good about it. I am also very happy the Senate went the way that it did. The only one that really so far has been sad for me is Eric Hovde, who's become a friend, really good guy. He did not win that Senate seat in Wisconsin. It was so close. I really wanted Hovde to win. I think he has a future in politics if he wants it. He razor thin lost to Tammy Baldwin, who's just one of those wily, entrenched Democrat incumbents. Very hard to get rid of them. Looks like it did happen in Pennsylvania, though. So McCormick, I think, has been called for him. So that's great news. Able to beat Casey. But this is an aftermath day of, our team just won the Super Bowl and won by 3 touchdowns. I mean, it was a total ass kicking. And it's a beautiful thing because after what happened in 2020, I'm not even getting in it. 81 million votes, 65 million, but now it's 80, but it was 81 million in 2020. Interesting, isn't it? Really? 15 million votes? Down? Population increased over the last 4 years, but Democrats got 15 million less votes? That's, people say, oh, yeah, I knew all along. Okay. We didn't know if they had gotten 81 million votes last time and got, 78 million or 79 million votes this time, you'd say, okay, a little down, but 15 million off, though? Really? Supposed to think that that's normal? I'm not a conspiracy guy, but there's a reckoning that needs to be had on that as well. I want to speak to my fellow gun owners for a second. Let me tell you, it's possible, believe it or not, to have a premium handgun for less than $500. I know because I have one, the Bear Creek Arsenal Grizzly. This is a phenomenal handgun, and you can upgrade it with things like an RMR optic cut, improved grip texture, and metal sights. They offer both a full-size and compact Grizzly model for concealed carry. The 20-degree grip angle and improved grip texture makes this firearm incredibly comfortable to shoot. And you don't have to pay a ton of money like those premium for those premium handguns that are out there. Grizzly retails for $295 on BearCreekArsenal.com. That's less than $300 for a super accurate handgun. So you're going to do amazing things at the range with your Grizzly. I've got one. I highly, highly recommend it. So go get one, and you'll be very happy you did. And now to close things out with you, I've just got to say, man, it's great, isn't it? I knew it. I felt this one for months. I knew J.D. Vance was going to be his VP. Let's just be honest. You listen to me, right? Either on radio, podcasts, hopefully both. I knew J.D. Vance was going to be the VP. Just knew J.D. Vance was going to be the VP. I don't know. He was not even in the top 5 for most of the campaign season, but I knew it. And he was, and he's been phenomenal. And I think a great pick made by Donald Trump there. And I knew Donald Trump was going to win this election. I never had any doubt. My wife, Carrie, is wonderful. She asked me, I think every day for the last 2 months, are you sure Trump's going to win? She was really worried. I said, yes, he's going to win. So that's an amazing thing for all of us to enjoy now, that it actually happened, that it feels like sanity has been restored, a bright future lies ahead. And yes, we're going to have to deal with the crazies and the challenges and the enemies and all the things that are out there. It's not over by a long shot. It will never be over. That's what I always tell people. It's not like, oh, we win this and then we're good. That's only in movies. In life, it's just about continuing to do the best you can with the time you have and take care of your people and take care of your country. So it is a forever thing. This is a forever battle, but it is, well, maybe it's a forever war, but we won this battle, and that's something that we should take note of. Also, I just want to speak for a moment about how it's very important for our allies that they have a president starting in January who really knows who the good guys are, who the bad guys are, stands with our allies, including, of course, Israel. And these days, Israel needs her allies to stand with her. Israel and her people are facing attacks from enemies on all sides. Friendly support is more appreciated than ever, and the International Fellowship of Christians and Jews is on the ground providing food, shelter, and safety to those in need. Thousands of Israel reservists have been injured, and their families need support. Your gift of $150 helps the fellowship provide food and other necessities to these families to help them survive, and your gift will be matched by a generous donor, doubling its impact. Call to make your $150 gift right now at 888-488-IFCJ. That's 888-488-IFCJ. or go online to supportifcj.org. That's one word, supportifcj.org. Go enjoy yourselves. Go celebrate. Shields high.